Hello, everybody. Another week, another artist. We're here today with Fate.
The one and only.
Tell me, what do you do musically? How long have you been doing it? Where did you start?
I've always loved doing music. I've did it since I was a kid. Since I was like knee height, I was always singing. I come from a really musical family. Like, I'm from a family of 12, from the same mum and dad.
Family of 12?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's nice though, because it's nice on Christmas time. We all sing together and we harmonise and stuff. I've always sang my whole life, but I took it more seriously like the past 2 years. I started on my journey as an artist, and you know, I feel like since the past 2 years I've just honed in on my songwriting, and you know, I've just decided to put all my energy on like building more songs up and more, like have more of a portfolio for my songs and my music.
I'm always intrigued and interested to know what's the turning point for a musician. Is there an event that happens, or is there anything that happens in a specific time that you realize, okay, this happened, so music is my thing, I'm gonna follow music? Was there a specific event, or what happened?
I think I always knew I was destined for music. I think if my name doesn't give it away enough, like it's fate. Like it's meant to be, you know.
Is that where the name comes from?
Yeah, like I just felt like it was like my destiny to do music. I've always loved music ever since I was young. And I think, I don't know, like, I did do like, I've done like school plays, I've done drama classes, so I've always loved being on a stage, and I've always sang, so I feel like, you know, I've been through a lot, and music's really helped heal me as a person, not just as an artist, but as a person. It's really helped me get out of some dark times in my life. I remember turning to music when I was going through my first ever breakup, and that's where my first song called Lust came out, and that was in 2021. I dropped it in 2021, and I wrote that about an ex-boyfriend who broke my heart, but I felt like music is my comfort. Like, it's something, you know, if I'm down, if I'm sad, if I'm happy, if I'm angry, music. Let's play music, you know. It's something that's just an easy turn point to me, and I always remember writing that song thinking, I wish I had a song to relate to how I feel and music. And then I thought to myself, I can do it. Like, I can write my own music. I can be the, like, put that message out there, like, for anyone else who's going through a hard time, because that's why I write music. I write music because it's healing. It's universal. It doesn't matter where you come from or what you look like. It brings everyone together. So I think that's what it was for me. I think I've always loved doing it, but, you know, when I've gone through a difficult time in my life, it's been the first thing that I can confide in properly.
So it wasn't a certain and a specific kind of an event.
No.
It was more like a gradual thing that you grew into it because of the things that you've faced, because of the feelings that you've had.
Yeah, I think it developed over time. I think obviously the first time I started taking it seriously, which was 2 years ago, I looked into myself a lot deeper and about where I wanted to be in my life, and I thought, if I'm going to do music, because I knew I could always like sing, I knew I had a bit of a voice on me and I can hit a few notes, there was always room for improvement. However, I felt like the songwriting side that's been a journey and a half for me, because I've not always been the best at songwriting. In fact, I've not even always been the best at singing. So I think the 2 year point, I kind of did a soul search on myself, and I thought, this is what I want to be doing. I want to be singing in front of everyone on a stage, you know, and I want my music played on the radio one day, hopefully.
100%, why not? So do you dream about it? Do you visualize about it?
100%.
About what you want to achieve in your life?
100%. Every day if I can. I try not to get too caught up in like visualising about it, because I feel like you need balance. I feel like you need that space. Okay, you want this to happen, but sometimes when we desire too much, you know, it can lead to, you know, disappointment. So my perspective on it is visualise what you want like it's happened already. You know, if you can hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. You know, meditation is everything. I close my eyes, and when I do my meditations, I do imagine being on a big stage. I do imagine my songs getting played worldwide, and hopefully being exactly where I want to be as a musician. So it is something I do practice, like a daily practice religiously.
When Faith wants to describe herself as an artist, how do you describe yourself? What genre do you work in? Or do you just keep your mind open to experiences?
I feel like what you've just said there, that's an amazing question. I feel like when you're saying it about keeping me open to different experiences, I think that's so important that you touch on that, because I feel like if we classify, oh, we're only good at this type of music, for example, let's just say pop. Oh, I'm just good at this one. Well, how do you know if you haven't tried out every different genre? It's like saying, I only like KFC, but you haven't tried McDonald's, or you haven't tried Nando's, or whatever, how you want to look at it.
Sure.
You know, you kind of need to test out everything really and see what feels most natural to you. And if you want to one day do one genre, like do that genre. But I feel like as an artist, as much as you've got to take a lot of things into consideration to do music in a certain genre, you'd also have to take in consideration of what feels authentic to you. I think that's the most important thing, because nowadays I feel like we do kind of see a lot of the same music. So I feel like, for me personally, you know, I will dibble and dabble in every genre and at least have about 50 songs bagged up in my portfolio from different genres. There's new genres that I'm still testing out, and it should feel uncomfortable. You know, trying new genres shouldn't feel comfortable because you haven't tried it yet. You know, it's like you're going to eat a food that you've not tried before. Like, all right, eat the food and then tell me how you feel. Like, try it out. So that's how I look at, you know, I don't like to be put in a box, so I do like to taste and try different genres, yeah.
There is a very good saying that says, I don't know what I don't know. So if you haven't tried it, you don't know what's it like. So go and try it and then make a bit of a judgment. As you said, in the beginning it might seem a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But just give it a go. You might like it. And
you never know until you try. Absolutely. You never know. 100%.
Absolutely. Have you released any songs? How many songs have you released?
So overall, I've only got 2 songs released. I did my first ever song, which was called Lust, and that was in 2021. And then my second song was this year, February. I think that was the 6th of February to be exact, and that was Ghosted. It's funny because...
Guys, make sure you go down in the description and click on those links and have a listen to the songs.
Yes, please stream. Give me a follow too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so when it comes to like me music, it's quite funny because as we were talking about being in a certain genre, my 2 songs are very slow ballad songs, which is lovely. It's lovely. However, I would like the audience to see, you know, I can delve into different genres, and I'm still testing it out. I feel like I am at a stage where I'm still trying to find my feet as an artist. You know, I'm upcoming, so I'm still trying to find my feet. However, you know, I'm still in that stage of like, you know, testing things out for myself, and I love singing ballad songs. I love writing slow, sad songs, but, you know, yeah, I do also like, you know, doing a bit of a R&B, trap soul, you know, anything like that's a little bit more different and more upbeat. Yeah, and I just feel like people haven't seen that side of me yet. So.
Do you feel that there is any kind of pressure from the music industry or social media that you have to look in certain way, you have to say certain things?
100%. I feel like social media already, for comparison, for young people's mental health is, you know, off the roof. And it's great in some ways. Social media is absolutely amazing in some ways. It definitely has its downsides. I feel like, you know, if you're on social media and you're scrolling and then you look at someone else's, what they're doing, and you get caught up in that rat race in your mind where you're like, oh, well, they're doing that and why haven't I got that? And then you start questioning yourself, am I not good enough? Do I need to have this many followers to get to where she's got, or to be noticed, or for my songs to be played? Or even if your goal is to have, you know, a certain thing in the industry, it's easy to compare yourself. And it's easy to compare yourself as an artist because you think, am I branding myself the right way? What am I doing wrong? When you're looking for every aspect. And, you know, I feel like, you know, I've been at that stage in my artist journey at one point, and it's not a nice place. You can't get consumed in, you know, social media. And you've got to kind of remind yourself of your unique qualities and what makes you different, what makes you stand out. Because, you know, it's so easy to fall into the pressure and like just let that choke you up on what you're doing, even on songs, on what's your next song. Or if they preferred one song over the other song, you could start overthinking and go, should I make a song similar to that then next time? But it shouldn't be about what other people want. It should, but it shouldn't. it should really be about, what do I like writing? What do I enjoy? What can I kind of sit back and be like, I'm proud of this. Okay, they might not, but I like this. And if your audience likes it, that's a bonus. I feel like it should really be about the art and the experience that you're getting across to other people.
As you said, I agree 100% that it's really important that who are you comparing yourself to, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta, I think if you're comparing yourself to somebody, it should be with the right role model.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately you shouldn't really compare yourself to anybody else, because the privileges that others have and the opportunities that others have.
You don't see that because they're not going to show the failures on social media. I know I try as much as I can to show people where I've come from and show people my progression, so it's not, so people don't just think this girl's got it all together, because we all have them. No one's really got it all put together. And I feel like, you know, failure is so important in success. Most of the successful people they've always failed before they've got to that point, you know, and that's the reminder.
There is a beautiful quote, I forgot the name of the guy, and he says, somebody asked him, how can I be successful? And he says, fail fast. Because you gotta go through a lot of failures.
Yeah, 100%.
To be able to go. And I think that's the beauty of it, you know, because if I do something and I achieve whatever I wanted, like the first time, I don't really learn anything.
Exactly.
But you learn
when you make
failures.
that mistakes, or when you fall, you learn on where you could get better, how to get better, you know. And another thing as well, I feel like another thing that's really important to think about is when you do fall, you're able to then say, well, I started from here and then I got here, and that's part of your success journey. You get to enjoy it. I think people are too busy trying to get to the top. They forget to enjoy the steps of getting to the top. Like, take my first step and I'm nearly at the top of the, you know. And it's like, enjoy the journey, slow down.
Do you think you've done any sacrifices in your journey, or do you even consider them as a sacrifice to be able to do the things that you want to do in your musical journey?
I really like that question. I feel like, you know, it helps when you love to do something and you know the reason why you're doing it. For example, most people go to work, you know, just to go to work. They're not really, but when you go into work to get the money to do something that you love to do, wow, that changes the motivation of going to work, because you know your reason why. I always think it's so important to know the reason why you're doing something and keep reminding yourself, because of course you're not going to want it every single day, you know. Go to work and do a job if you want to be a musician. You're not really going to want to go and do that unless you really, really love your job. I feel like I have done a lot of sacrifices on my journey. I've been, you know, there's been sleepless nights. There's been nights where I've been, you know, crying because I've not like got the song like the way I want it to be. There's been nights where, you know, I'm just about catching up on my sleeping pattern, and like I said, I work Monday till Saturday. And I work a job, it's not music related, it's just help with the income for my music, and already that takes its toll on me, but I know it's going to be worth it. I know further down the line, I know if you don't invest in you, no one else will. And that's what I keep reminding myself, if you do not invest in you, then no one else will. So if I want something that bad, let my actions do the talking, instead of just saying, I want this and I want that. And I think because when you do look on social media, back to what you asked before, you think, well, they just did it through TikTok, but there's a lot more. Sometimes there's a lot more than you see. You don't really know what's going on, but we assume naturally as human beings, we assume everything. We assume that, you know, this is why, but there's way more going on behind the surface that we don't get to look at.
How do you find collaborators?
Network. I feel like just putting your work out there, the right people will come to you. It's not always the case, you know. You still have to find your feet, you have to find your way, you still have to, you know, if you don't ask, you don't get, they say. So if there's someone that you want to work with, I think people are too afraid of rejection. Don't be afraid to message and be like, well, let's work together, I love your stuff. I think social media helps a lot nowadays with networking, and I think just you know, showing people who you are. And I think if you've got a team of people on your side, I'm really fortunate. I've got like a lot of strong independent female creatives and males too on my journey who have helped me with my next upcoming project that I've been working on the couple of months. And I'm fortunate to have ever met them because, you know, you can learn so much from the people that you do collaborate with. However, I do feel like networking and social media, use that to your advantage. You know, we've got it a lot more easier in that sense nowadays because we can go on social media. We can, you know, if we want to work with someone around our circle or in our location, message them. Or sometimes it's not that easy because the industry can be quite, you know, it's quite a difficult industry to work in anyway. However, I feel like, yeah, like I said before, the right people will come to you. And if you're still struggling to get the right people to come to you, then reach out to people. You know, message, communicate.
Do you have plan B?
There is no plan B. There is no plan B. Because as soon as you, in my opinion, as soon as you tell yourself there's a plan B, that's doubt to me. I understand people who think it logically, who think, well, realistically, business-wise, what if it doesn't work? For me personally, I really feel like music's core to me. It's not something small to me. It's my life. Like, it's something literally takes over me. It's something I can see myself doing. No matter how many times I fall down, no matter how many rejections that I will get along my journey, music is always going to be something that just feels natural to me. So I just feel like there's no need really to have a plan B in my eyes because what's meant to be will be. And if it doesn't work out, there'll probably be something. But I don't tend to think like that. I just think I always hope for the best, and I know how the universe works, and I know if I put in the hard work, it will pay off. And if I make this, like, you know, it's all what you put in, you get out type of thing.
And somebody maybe makes you a bit more lazy as well because, yeah, okay, I don't have to go like write a song today because I have a plan B. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's
too chilled. It's like if you want something, just go and get it. Like no matter what's in the way, no matter how many obstacles coming and challenge you, like go for it. Just do it. That's my message. Like for anyone who's upcoming, who is a musician and is struggling, just go for it. Like you've got this.
That's it. So you want to release a song?
Yeah.
How do you do it? Do you have like a release strategy?
I do, yeah.
What do you do? Tell us a few tips. I want to release a song. I'm gonna steal your idea.
I know, like, should we tell you this or like? I feel like once again, social media is a massive part of my plan, and it should be for most musicians who's upcoming. Utilize it. We've got TikTok nowadays, so I feel like TikTok, you know, it takes a video to go and reach, you know, millions of people on a viral page, which is a For You page, and reach all types of different audiences. And I feel like we have a lot in our favour in that sense, utilising social media. I feel like that's my main go-to. I will try my best to utilise social media. Personally, I create templates, and I'll create any template around my artwork and around my release. And creativity, I think, as a musician, most musicians, all musicians are creative anyway, because that's what we do. We live in our creativity, you know. So personally for me, you know, I come up with creative ideas to promote my music. I won't, if you do it too directly, I did go through a point in my journey where I was trying to promote myself as an artist and market myself. However, it was more obvious that I was trying to do it. The less obvious you can be, the best, you know, that you can get done out of it. And obviously money is another thing, you know, money for like certain campaigns and PR campaigns and stuff, you know, that obviously helps. Like, unfortunately, money, I say this to a lot of people, it's a lot more expensive being a musician than you think.
Absolutely.
People just see the music being out. They don't understand how do they get on the distribution.
Everything is being made in the computer and just put it out there.
And then they're like, when I show my friends sometimes from my songs, yeah, when I show my friends my songs, they go, "Oh, that's amazing. Just, are you gonna drop it now?" I'm like, "No, I've got a plan. Like, there's a way I've got to do this. I'll just drop it now." I'm like, "There's a specific way that needs to be done for it to, you know, reach the target audience." And what's the point in putting out your work that you should be proud of, because it's your work at the end of the day, if you're not gonna push it or promote it or back it up in the way is expected. It's your work, you know.
Very
it's
true.
like you're a business, you're a brand, you got to brand yourself, you know.
That's what it is. When you become a professional musician,
yeah,
you're becoming a professional businessman or a businesswoman
exactly.
as well. How mental health do you think affect you as an artist?
Many ways. I think it's so much easier nowadays to define yourself, your worth, with the music you do or the reaction the music gets. That's a really big thing. And I know a few artists that suffer with getting caught up in that trap. I'm guilty of, you know, I've been there before myself. I'm like, oh, like I'm not good enough, or, you know, it's not done where I've expected. And when you have that expectancy and you solely depend on that validation, it's really dangerous.
Where do you think that expectation comes from?
It comes from a variety of things. It comes a lot from, you know,
comparing yourself.
Comparisons, and I know because the industry is very competitive, but that's something we know we're getting into when we're into it, you know, but it's so easily done. Everyone compares everyone. Like you know, you can look at someone who's an amazing singer and you can admire them, you can be like, you know what, I love what they do, but when you start thinking, well, because do you reckon that's why they're more successful, because they've got that and I haven't? I'm not good enough. And then that's where that thought comes in. So I think it's about trying to not doubt yourself and feeding your mind more with positivity and the fact that there's only one you. But yeah, it is really difficult because, you know, your mental health can make you feel like, you know, you're not good enough, or you get caught up in the numbers or the amount of streams. I know so many people that do that as well. And, you know, like I've said before, I've been guilty of like thinking, you know, if a song doesn't do as well, it's a me problem. And I'm like, oh, I'd think it in my mind, but I wouldn't do it. I'd be like, oh, I don't want to do music anymore. But I think that's part of like the process of being an artist and developing. Like, not every day, not every song everyone's going to love. That's okay. Not every song that you write you're going to love. That's also okay. I think it's knowing yourself and, you know, not basing your whole personality around being a singer or a musician, because like it's easy to get caught up in that. I've been like that before, where I'm like, oh well, you know, I'm going to do my music, and then I'm like, I'm finding myself like feeling a bit empty. I'm like, I've not really done much for myself. I'm doing loads of work and I'm trying to balance the work life out, and I'm trying to balance my social life, trying to balance being a musician and getting that sorted. It's really difficult because, you know, you find it hard to like, you know, separate it and find time to just wind down for you, and nothing music related, nothing, you know, family, just for yourself. And, you know, what do I like to do regardless from music, because that is so much involved in your life. You literally have to think about so many things, your artist image, you know, your next creation, how, you know, you have to step away from it a little bit sometimes, and that's not a bad thing. Put a pause button on.
Coming from a place that you've experienced mental health yourself, do you have a message for people who are suffering from mental health?
I'd say don't give up on you, because at the end of the day, you go home to yourself. Every single night, you're with yourself. No one else is with you. The most important project to work on is you. As much as music is important, always be at the top of your own to-do list. Don't give up. And, you know, don't look for that validation anywhere outside yourself, as hard as it is in such an industry. In any creative industry, it is difficult, but find that validation within yourself and everything else will fall in place. Everything else will follow. Like, it sounds cringy, but follow your heart. Like, what feels right to you, follow that. Don't let anyone tell you what you should be doing when you know deep down the right thing to do, the right answers within.
Do you believe in talent, so it's in somebody's genes, or would you say that it's just purely work ethic?
I feel like anyone can be talented. Anyone can sing. Anyone can play the drums. Anyone can, you know, rap or whatnot. It's the work that makes it. It's the long game. Are you in it for the long game, or do you just think that your talent will just take you places? Because I know loads of talented people, but when it matches the work ethic, like someone who's not as talented, the work ethic's like up the roof, and it's like, hold on, now who do you look at? You're looking at the one who's working harder than the one who's just got the talent, because talent doesn't work if you're not working on it type of thing. You know, you need to be, someone could have a gift, but it's the hard work that separates them 100%. That's always been my mindset. And you know, when I say hard work, I don't mean don't have a break. I don't mean 100%, you know, always be doing music. Do music, but, you know, have that balance at the same time. But if you need to show up for a podcast, or if you need to show up for like a gig or a live session, or where's the hunger? Are you hungry? Are you hungry for your
How
success?
bad do you want it?
Exactly. Do you just expect it to happen? Because I know loads of people are just like, yeah, it's going to happen for me, you know. Okay, good for you, but that's most likely realistic. That's not going to happen. Not in such a tough industry as it is anyway. It to just be talented, that'd be amazing if we could all just be talented, but I'm sure everyone would make it. It's definitely the hard work, and it's a lot more harder for people who don't have the privileges. For people who are doing it independently, is a lot much more of a struggle, 100%. For example, my next song that I'm dropping in, you know, January next year, 2023, that's called Look, and I've done that at home with a microphone. I've sent it off to a producer to get mixed and mastered, and I've sorted out the music video myself. That's happening the next month. With a talented group of people that I've managed to work with, which I'm really lucky for. And I've done that myself. I've made those connections myself. I've messaged those people. Sent off those vocals myself. I bought my own equipment. You have to start somewhere. And if you don't start there, then you'll never start.
To me, there is no talent. I think there's purely work ethic.
Really, yeah.
And some people might have the privileges, as we said before. For example, when you're 5, you have a father and a mother who are musical. So you would get a chance to listen to, for example, your mother playing piano, your father singing. So you would get those sounds and you start picking up. Yeah. So when you become, for example, 15, it comes to you more naturally. Actually, yeah. And they say, oh, it's talent. But right. I think that is the potential that's behind the privileges that person had in the early ages, in the early stages of life.
Right.
But that's just my personal...
I do understand where you're coming from with that perspective, because, you know, it's the work ethic that kind of sets you apart, and you could have the talent, you could be able to sing, but then again, even being an artist, you can sing, but if you want to be a musician, an upcoming artist, someone who's in studio, that could be completely separate to just being able to sing on a stage. But can you sing in the studio? Can you know...
Have you noticed it's a totally different vibe?
It's so different.
You can be absolutely great in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah, but
when you go to the studio, because I don't know what is it about
That's so true.
Because I've had a chance to work with a few musicians myself, and I'm a musician myself, so I've really felt it. Because when you go behind the mic, I don't know what is it about it. I think it's the acoustic of the room is different. You can hear your heartbeat.
Yeah.
I think it becomes a bit weird.
When you're in a studio, you're left to your own, like that's it. You're facing the mic, and I think
you're so intimate with the work. We'll be back. Do you think there is anything in the music industry that you wish it was different?
I knew you were going to say that. But yeah, different. Yeah, I wish it wasn't about how you look. Oh my God, I wish it was solely about the music, like back in the day. I wish it was just about the music that you produce. Like, and that's all you hear is like the music, and you're like, oh my God, who's that? Da, 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 da. But now it's about like everything else. So yeah, that is something I wish was different.
Let's say you're making a song.
Yeah.
You get writer's block.
Ooh.
What do? You leave it for a week? Or what do you do? How do you approach to...
That's something that I've had a lot of the times, you know. I've had... I don't even like the word writer's block, because then I associate... You know, and I think the best thing for me... I know this sounds proper strange, but I feel like some musicians will be able to relate to this, right? The best thing that's helped me... And I will go away from that song. It's hard when you've got a deadline or you've got
How long?
other people.
A week? 2 weeks, a year, 2 years?
No, not that far. Not that. I wouldn't say. Okay, I wouldn't say. No, by 2 years I'll be done with the music industry. Okay, so I wouldn't say like years, definitely not a year. I'm not going to just come back to the song. I mean, I know other people probably would, but I wouldn't go back to it in a year. The most I'd say might be a month, most. But that's if I'm really stressed out. You've got to be really stressed and really in your doubts to not be able to finish it, personally, in my opinion. Well, for me anyway. I feel like the best thing you can do when you get writer's block is literally go away from it. And it's worse when you've got other people influencing it, or other people, you know, down your ear, saying they do it like this and you don't like that, and you're like, like, I never like to show people my song before it's done. It needs to be done, then criticise it, then tell me where I need to go better, because when it's
too much of an influence from outside,
especially when you're not even finished the song. It's like,
because you only know how does it gonna sound like as a final track,
exactly.
A final press. I agree 100%. Especially because in music there are different stages. So, for example, in the initial stage of arranging, the sound doesn't really have that sonics and that quality of the final kind of piece.
Yeah, exactly.
But obviously, as someone who doesn't have that kind of an expertise and that experience, they wouldn't really be able to pick on that and say that's okay. They would say, the quality, that's not a good piano sound. You know, it's 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think I've learned to realise, like, to value my work, and, you know, I won't, like, when it comes to my music and stuff like that, I used to, wrote a song, listen to this, and I haven't finished it yet, it's like a rough, and then I stopped doing that because I thought, I'm ruining my journey, and am I actually doing it for me, or is it for a sense of validation? And I think when I got to that mindset, I thought, you know what, like, I'm going to show my song when it's done, and if you want to critique it, that's fine. To also knowing whose opinion to value as well, that's another thing, like, whose opinion are you valuing when it comes to your songs? And is that, if that is the case, is that the reason you're getting writer's block? What is the reason? Figuring it out, because sometimes people get it because they just get it. You know, sometimes you've been out of the game for too long and you start doubting yourself. Personally, I think writer's block is just 100% doubt. You feel dead stagnant, you feel stuck, you feel like your mind's gone blank. What do I do? How do I write? I personally found getting away from the work and experience something, like, do something fun, let your hair down, literally have fun. Whatever your way of having fun is, whatever your way of, like, enjoying yourself might be, nothing to do with music though, nothing. Could be something like going on holiday for a week, come back, going on a night out with the girls, you know, paintballing, whatever it is that you find fun, do that. Do a lot of it and then come back to the song. And I promise that has helped me so very much. Like, just getting away from it and just doing something fun and reminding yourself that, like, you know, it's the story that you're telling. Like, you don't have to be robotic with it. It doesn't have to be this chore. I used to see songwriting as a chore because I hated it that much. When I got writer's block, it was like a chore. I didn't like it. So I realised the reason I didn't like it wasn't because I didn't enjoy it. It was because I was put on that pressure on myself. It made it feel like nothing I was writing was good enough. So, okay, what can I do I'll write the song for me first. If I write it for me and ever tell myself that only I'm going to hear this, then I'll be more creative. If I tell myself I'm writing this for some specific someone, or it needs to be done at this time, it just becomes too, you know, deadline. Like, creativity is meant to flow, not be tamed and be, you know.
Because they might not have the knowledge or understanding or the experience. They're not in that industry. I think that's a very important point. I gotta realize, in this case as a musician, that nobody else is in my mind. That picture that I'm seeing, I can only see it.
Yeah.
Like, even my parents, my siblings, who are really close to me, they love me to bits and everything. I cannot expect anybody. Because for the simple fact that they're not in my head.
They're not in your head, exactly.
They can't see what I can see.
Exactly.
It's very simple. So I think I have to drop that expectation that come and understand me. They're not in my head.
Yeah, that's so true. That's something I've always struggled with like my parents and stuff, like they've been supportive in the aspect of like, you know, saying like helping me and building confidence and saying you're amazing at singing and, you know, support me in their own ways, in different ways. But with the industry, that's fine. That's like, at first I was upset about it and I was like, you know, a bit like, oh, why I wish you were a bit more like understanding to the journey that I've got to go on. It's difficult, industry's cutthroat, But then maybe that's me expecting too much. Like, you know, like they're getting on. They're not going to know too much about the industry, and that's okay. 100%. You know, that's all right.
There is a beautiful saying that Mike Tyson says that if you're everybody's friends, you're yourself's enemy.
Oh, I love that. That is so true.
You cannot please everyone.
True, yeah.
You cannot please everyone. This is me, and I want to be better.
Yeah.
During the years that I'm working, in this case, in music industry, but I'm the best version of me right now.
Right now, and that's what you've got. That's all you've got.
That's it. So tell me 3 things in front of the camera that you, when you walk out of this podcast, that you want to promise yourself that you want to do it.
To start saying yes, like to more, just any opportunity, just say yes. To believe in myself even more. And to remind myself of how far I've come on my journey.
Attitude of gratitude.
Yes.
3 things that you're grateful for.
Oh, there's more than 3, but I guess I'll just go with family. Because I have amazing family members. My friends, I've got amazing friends. Like amazing friends, not just in network and with the music industry. Like aside from that, I've got amazing friends. Like a best friend who's always helped me through the worst of the worst. I'm so grateful to have that friend in my life. You know who you are. Yeah, and I don't think through a lot of things, I went through a lot within this year, and she was someone who stood by my side. Oh my God, am I getting emotional? She stood by my side so much, and I have so much respect for her because she will forever be more than just a friend, like a sister, you know. She's a really amazing friend, so that's something I'm forever grateful for. I want to say music because, of course, you know, it wouldn't be, I couldn't come on this podcast and not say music while I'm like a musician, you know. And just love, you know, the love that goes around, like, it's the last thing, like, the love that, you know, I get from anyone, from just being on this earth, you know, like, the love that passes around. I'm grateful that exists, you know.
Faith, last words.
Yeah, well, I've been waiting for this question. So I've been working recently, the past few months, on my next newest single called Look. It'll also, because I love my people so much, it'll also come with a music video.
Wow.
That I've been working on. Yeah, I've been working super hard. We did a photo shoot in Manchester with some talented people. I had my hair done, my stylist, you know, my makeup artist and my photographer, all amazing, really talented people.
Right.
And we've got a music video coming up. Yeah, I kind of wanted to do this, you know, women empowerment, you know, because I feel like women should also get a lot of light shed on like their creativity within the industry, as I know it can be difficult. And I'm just grateful to have met an amazing bunch of people. So look out for my music video and my song called Look.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much,
coming.
Shawn.
That's what we do at the end of the podcast. Everybody, I'm gonna put all the links to her social media down in the description. Make sure you go click on them and give her a follow. Make sure you go click on the music and the music video that's gonna come out.
Yes.
And follow us for more.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
Honestly,
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.